G'day, we're going to have a look at this Asus ProArt PX13. It's a 13-inch convertible laptop, which means this is a 2-in-1. And you can actually change to the different forms at the moment in presentation mode, or stand forms, what you call it. And you can get I'm going to lift this up and you can go into your tent mode, which is basically letting it be, look like a tent. And then you can set the lid completely closed, and I've got into my tablet form. Now it does include a stylus, which we will actually look into the line jitter test for the stylus support, and also you can just let the screen just flip it all the way around and go back to a normal laptop. So this being a ProArt series laptop, which means it is aimed for your professional creators and also content creators like myself. This has been absolute joy to use. Now there are features that are aimed for your creators and professional creators, and we'll explore that later on in this video. Now I've been having this laptop for about a month or so now, and it's been hard for me to create the review for this, not because of anything bad with it. It's just I've been just running around with it so much and using it so much, because this is kind of very much my workhorse computer at the moment, and I'm gonna have to give this away later on, and it's gonna be sad for me to say goodbye to it, as this has been just absolute joy to use. Now why I say that, now unlike a lot of other 2-in-1 laptops, this, even though it's got a beautiful processor, which is the AMD Ryzen AI 9 HX370, this has been very good in terms of power and performance. Fantastic there, but it also houses a discrete graphics, a powerful discrete graphics that is there, which is the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4070. That's right, 4070 in a 13-inch laptop, and as a convertible, there's not many of those that's out there. This has it all. This is absolute fantastic. This year in 2024 has been a blazing for laptops, and this is one of the forms that is thin, light, has all the ports, and it still has that performance that's uncompromised. Absolute fantastic here. Now as always, I will be looking at some of the features. I'll also be doing the temperature test on this, and as always I will be putting timestamps along the video so you can skip to the different section that you may be interested if you time. Now first off, with the specifications of this, again I said the processor is the new AMD Ryzen AI 9 HX370 here. Absolute fantastic. Now with the memory wise, has a maximum capacity of 32 gigs. Now they are soldered to the system board, so make sure you get the correct amount, as you can't upgrade it later on. Now with the storage wise, has one slot of M.2. Now that is a 20-30 format. Now with the graphics wise, as I said before, it has that discrete graphics, which is the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4070. Now you can get a lower model, which is the 4060 as well, and it has that integrated graphics from the new AMD AI, which actually backs it up very well. And sometimes you want to save power, you can run on that, which is the Radeon 890M, and that does a fantastic job. And I've been running a lot of actually AAA games, even on the onboard graphics, on the ones that actually don't have the discrete, and it's able to handle the AAA games. And this, you can run on, but you've got the discrete graphics, why not go for it and let that thing just pretty much go for it. Measuring the color gamut coverage of the 13-inch 3K OLED display, which has a maximum brightness of 400 nits, it resulted with 100% sRGB coverage, 93.2% Adobe RGB coverage, and 98.3% DCI-P3 coverage. Now this is suited for photo and video editing tasks. Looking at the ports, starting on the right hand side, we've got the power button, we've got a micro SD card reader, we've got a USB type A port, that's USB 3.2 Gen 2, and then we've got a USB-C, this is USB 4, so it is the fast one, and it also takes on power delivery, which means you can use this one to charge the laptop. Now it may not actually put into extreme or power mode, but at least you can supplement the power, or if you're using just the integrated graphics, you will be able to use this on full if you need to. So it's just good to have that ability to actually charge the laptop even on this USB type C port. And then we've got the exhaust. Looking at the left hand side, we have the exhaust, and then AC power port. Now this is where you plug in the 200 watt power adapter to allow the computer to run at its maximum potential. A full-size HDMI port, which is version 2.1, a USB type C port, again USB 4, and this allows it to do power delivery of up to 100 watts. Again, it's nice to see that you can actually charge the computer using this, but you need to use the AC power port to run at maximum potential. And then last but not least is the audio combo jack. The weight of the ProArt PX13 is 1.39 kilos plus the 200 watt power adapter becomes a combined weight of 1.96 kilos you might be carrying around with you. With the keyboard, we have a nice key layout with smooth surface to each individual key and a decent spacing in between each keys. We have a good amount of key travel and a nice recoil as you depress the keys. They are relatively quiet sounding keys. The keys are backlit and there are 4 settings: off, low, medium, and high. As for the trackpad, it is a mechanical trackpad, so it's hinged at the top and can depress it as you move towards the bottom. It is a very silky, smooth surface, and I didn't have any issues registering any of my touches or depressing. This is recording from the 1080p webcam from the PX13. This is the video and audio unedited, so you can hear and see what the quality of webcam is like. Now, in the outdoors environment at the moment, in the shade, and there is quite bright sunlight behind me, so there is a different exposure. So definitely love to hear your thoughts about this. I find it's still quite vibrant even with the different exposures, and it's great to see there's a 1080p webcam. Now there is a bit of construction behind me, there's a bit of background noise, so this is a test of the noise reduction. Now definitely love to hear what your thoughts of this webcam. Put a comment below. There are 2 speakers located on the bottom front on either side of the PX13. They are from Harman and Kaldon. And when I tested out the maximum volume of the speakers, it managed to measure at a peak of 86.1 decibels. Now consider this in the medium range. And as for the sound quality of the speakers, now these are actually very impressive sounding speakers. It's got lots of bass. They're actually that punchy bass as well. Got very strong mids and lows. It is balanced towards more the low end and has very nice reverb and acoustics. They're actually great for listening to music and also for gaming. Again, I'm very impressed by the speakers on this PX13. As for the battery life, I managed to get 7 hours and 45 minutes for Modern Office battery life test in PC Mark 10, 1 hour and 24 minutes for gaming, and 7 hours and 49 minutes for video playback on the Procom battery life test. I'll consider this pretty much average, considering this has a very powerful discrete graphics, so it's actually quite good, and it is very essentially quite low in weight, so it actually does pretty well. Looking at temperatures and fan noise, when I took my measurement, the ambient temperature room was 24 degrees Celsius. So it was another one of those hot nights, and just to give you a reference point, my hand was around about 37 degrees Celsius at this room temperature. So hopefully it gives you an idea how hot or how cool this laptop could be. So I took my base measurement when the computer was idle, and the hottest air around the keyboard measured a maximum of 39 degrees Celsius. As for the fan noise, it stayed pretty much mostly silent at 35 decibels, and the average internal core temperature was 43 degrees Celsius. Then I'll put 20% load on the computer to pretty much average users, tasks like office productivity work, surfing the web, streaming video, and this also include 20% load on the discrete graphics, and the hottest air around the keyboard measured a maximum of 40 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, it did spin up a little bit and it measured in a maximum of 36 decibels, and the average internal core temperature was 52 degrees Celsius. Then I put 50% load on all the system resources, and the hottest air around the keyboard measured a maximum of 43 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, it spun all the way up to a maximum of 44 decibels, and the average internal core temperature was 63 degrees Celsius. Then I put 100% load on all the system resources, and the hottest air around the keyboard measured a maximum of 45 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, it stayed at 44 decibels, and the average internal core temperature was 66 degrees Celsius. Then I put the computer in full performance mode to allow at its maximum potential while maintaining 100% load on all the system resources, and the hottest air around the keyboard measured a maximum of 46 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, it did spin up to a maximum of 48 decibels, and the average internal core temperature was 67 degrees Celsius. I also measured the PX13 in tablet mode while it had 20% load on all the system resources, so it would be average use, And the hottest air around the display side measure a maximum of 39 degrees Celsius. As for the fan noise, it measured in at maximum of 42 decibels, and the average internal core temperature was around about 55 degrees Celsius. As for the keyboard side, while in tablet mode and 20% load, the keyboard measured a maximum of 43 degrees Celsius. And just to note, where the hottest air around the keyboard is around about where the Y and 7 key is, which is normally not an area that you would normally touch, which is actually good. So this actually makes it very usable. Also, to make a special mention about the processor temperatures, it hit a maximum of 67 degrees Celsius. Now, most processors are rated all the way to 100 degrees Celsius, and this only hit a maximum of 67 degrees Celsius. So there is plenty of breathing room, but these are kept quite safe and still able to maintain these high performance numbers. Absolutely amazing from both Asus and especially AMD on this processor. Fantastic. As for the build construction and the material of the PX13, this is made entirely of black aluminium. It's nice feel of just smoothness on the top cover. You got this nice Asus ProArt logo at the bottom here. It's just nice and subtle, very professional like that. And it is also carries along with the aluminium on the palm rest. This is going to be very durable for long periods of many years to come here, and also on the bottom back cover here as well. Now, we'll just go quickly do the flex test and bend test, but I'll just do the keyboard flex first. So I'm putting a lot of power there. It's not even touching the fan at all. This is very, very strong, structurally strong. So this is absolutely fantastic here. Now I'll just quickly just do the bend test. Oh, I ain't bending much at all. Same with the flex. That's not flexing much at all. This is really good. You can actually wobble this. That's absolutely fantastic. Now I'm going to just do the hinge test. Now, of course, this has actually got a better grated sort of hinge on the back here, and that's what carries along. It's got a nice texture to there. It's very unusual to see, and it is actually looks very high grade too. So, and it is aluminium, so very, very dense there. And I'll just do one finger to see how they are. So that's very nicely lifted off. I can feel magnet. Just let it go, and that is so smooth. That is really, really smooth. And then you can count of being a 360. You can actually go all the way, but that is unusually very smooth. It just that is nearly effortless. It's just so smooth. That is a really well built hinge here. Very nicely hinged. Now, of course, when you actually go here, it actually doesn't lift the bottom up, just to let you know that. But it does have these rubber feet on here just to create that little gap, so you can allow the air to come in from the bottom here. So just to let you know that, and just I'm so surprised how well that hinges. Now let's go to the wobble test. So, and that is not letting go. That is just nice. It's just not letting go. I'll just do it on this side here. That is not letting go of the lid here. That's my wobble test. Really, really well built construction on the PX13. Well done, Asus. Now this ProArt PX13 did have included the Asus Pen 2. Now this may, in some countries, may not be included, but this one was included in this unit, and it pretty much has two buttons on the side and also the top button here, which is to connect for Bluetooth. It could be raised, you can change that up, and it is a circular cylinder sort of design here. Now we also, if you pull the top part, you actually have a USB-C, which you can actually charge this pen or stylus, which is absolutely fantastic. I like that. So it's got a rechargeable batteries, and you got a nib here. Now we also have 4096 levels of pen pressure sensitivity. That is absolutely nice, and pretty much what I will say the standard these days. It has a nice pen feel. Now I'm going to do the line jitter test now on this. So I'm just going to slowly draw my lines. Now this is being a glass or glossy display. You do feel it very smooth and silky for the display. I'm doing my best to actually draw my diagonal lines. Now I'm not a digital artist in any sort of form. I'm doing it, I think it actually does all right here. Now I'll just do some quick ones here for you, and I'll do some really on the horizontal lines, as that was just my palm projection, as I've just touched the very bottom here, just that's the application itself. And I'm just going to do it now. I am dragging my palm along this, so in terms of palm projection is actually not too bad. and I'm just going to put some multiple touches here, and it's still drawing that pretty alright, as I've still got my palm resting on the display. And I'm just going to do some swirls here, do my best to do my swirls. It's not too bad. Now I'm just going to do the parallax to see how it follows. Now there is a little bit of delay back behind as it's chasing through, as that is there. So as you do quicker, it does delay, but it's not too bad. It's actually quite usable. Now this does have pen sensitivity, as I said. So I'm just going to do light, harder in, light, and I'm pressing into the display, light, pressing into the display. And I'll just do some writing. With the ProArt series, it does include the ProArt Creator Hub application. Now this is specifically aimed for your content creators or creative professionals, and we're just going to quickly go through the application so just so you have an idea what this has ability to do. Now we've got your dashboard, which kind of give you an overview of the system, how it's performing and the status of it. You can change the operation mode here if you wanted to make it more performing higher in the performance mode, but of course we have to plug in the AC power for that to work, and you can actually change that up. Now you can also do that in the My Asus app here, which is probably what I have got used to as I've tested a lot of computers out. That's pretty much universal, but you can do it in here in the Creative Hub application. Now we also have the color control. Now this is about the output from the display, this really gorgeous 3K display on here, and at the moment we've set it to normal. You can change it to more vivid colors if you wanted to see more vivid vibrant colors. You can change the actual temperature of the display as well, so either more warmer or more cooler depending on what you like, and you can change also the blue light emission. So that's really nice to see you can actually do that. It is nice that you can have that sort of fine-tuning controls. Now Work Smart is about workflows, so you can actually group a bunch of applications to launch together if you wanted to. I've just created one here, but just to give you an idea, you can pretty much just collect and then select a bunch of apps, up to 8 apps here, and then you can browse for more apps and then create, and then it will actually be able to just click on it and it will just launch all the applications for it. So at the moment I've got 4 set here, but you can, which means if I click on it, it will launch all 4 apps. But I won't do that now because it'll probably quite slow it down because there are some powerful apps there. Now we also got the control settings. Now the control settings is about the Asus Dialpad. Now I'll actually get more into this after this part here, so I'll just quickly click onto it just so you can actually see that what it is. It's not really much there because it's controlled at the Asus dial. Now I'll go to the performance optimizations there. Now we actually have the resource monitor. This is pretty much just a nicer, cleaner version of the task manager. But of course you can actually free up some memory, so it's nice. That's a different sort of thing. That's just more cleaner for it. But really, this is the middle tab here, which is the app power priority. Now this allows you to give you more priority and more performance to a specific app, just to give it more things. So you can actually select that and basically put it in here, and then what it does is just gives it more priority and performance to that specifically app. Or when it sees it launches, it also can actually make the fan to go into more performance mode, as you can see down here. So it's kind of cool that you can actually do that. And then clean apps, just a bunch of just maintenance that you can actually do just to help clean the disk. You also got a couple, so just give you an idea of what is taking a lot of space as well. Now the real power is actually in here, which is called the color management. Now in the color management, you can actually, this is more for your, as I said, creative professionals, and you can actually change the color palette. Now with this default here, you can actually create some defaults and actually you can color pick some things. So just to give you an idea, you can actually create some color, and again it is Pantone that actually has helped with this. So you can actually create some new colors. You can do this color picker. So I'm just going to color pick something that's from another application. Say we'll just go use this pink here. I like to save that pink for later on. I can actually use it, and also can tells you exactly all the actual information of that particular color, so you can actually reuse it in a particular, and you can also bring that into the professional application. So it's kind of nice, you can actually do that. And then we'll just quickly jump over to your Asus dial. So I'll just bring that up here. This is the Asus dial. With the Asus Dialpad, you can just press on it, and then you actually then just rotate it around for it. Now this is the actual application itself that you can actually customize. So at the moment I've got your multi-function, and pretty much if I just press on it, it will actually then give you an idea what you can actually do. So if I just do that right now, so if I just swipe this down and then I'll just press on it, you actually see this is now been activated. Now I'll just use the volume, so I can now just switch it around here. Now I'm just going to press it again on the middle button, and at the moment I've got 100% as I was just testing the speakers here. So you can actually just bring that down, and I'm just using that by the Asus dial. Now I'll actually just show you back onto the touchpad. So I'll just bring you to the other applications. So you can actually do things in other applications where you can actually set the multi-functions. I'm just going to use the Premiere Pro because that was what I was actually using, and you can actually add more in as you come through. So you can actually highlight that and then add more functions to it if you wanted to. And it has some pre-built ones in there, or you can go and customize, which is the customized functions, and then you can actually click on that, and then you can then say what the function is, and then you can say what is the keyboard shortcut for it, and what it does on the rotate left or the rotate right. And that's kind of cool, as that is nice ability, so you can actually add that in. Now I have only just used this a little bit, as I have just used so many computers, I haven't actually got used to it. But if I was on a single computer a lot, this is actually very helpful especially in video editing, where you can actually scroll and scrub around using this nice Asus dial. Now this is not just an application only, it does require the hardware, and it is a pretty powerful tool and really nice feature for content creators and professional creators. I'm going to quickly demo the Asus dial in its application. I've just got Adobe Premiere Pro, as I've got a few customization for that for the Asus dial. Now to activate the Asus dial, on the top right hand corner you'll see a little dot that's indented, and you pretty much swipe diagonally down to the left, and then you'll see the Asus dial activate. You'll see a white LED light that says it is now activated. Now you can actually press the middle button here, and that will Asus dial, you actually see the quick menu that comes up. Now at the moment I've got it set to the time axis adjustment, so you can go to the different other ones by just rotating it across to the different ones, but I'll just quickly show what I'm actually going to do. So at the moment, normally with scrubbing wise, you just have to select this and pull across with this, but with the Asus dial I can quickly just go and do this with the rotate. Okay, it is a really nice that I can do it slow, or can do it really quick, the same thing, but just a nice that I have a rotation rather than actually do it left and right and pressing down to pull it across. It's just another thing. And I'm just going to show you another one, which again is very similar to the other one, just as a step by step. So it is actually just doing various frame at a time, very slowly, frame at a time. This is really nice. I find this one very, very nice to use, as this is quite hard to actually do it in the just dragging and pulling across with a trackpad. This is really nice, having this really fine control. It's so nice to have that fine control on the Asus dial for frame by frame. So that step by step mode, zoom in, zoom out. That is pretty much, if you see this timeline here, I'm just zooming in, zooming out. You can do the same thing for your audio adjustments. So I'm just going to move that to the audio adjustment tracks here. It's just the height that creates height there. And with the timeline zoom, this is the same like plus and minus on the timeline here. So you can go plus minus. Now I've just got that same idea. Now this is just zooming in and zooming out. So very nice to actually have these nice quick controls that's just ready to go with this Asus dial that helps you out. Really nice, really, really nice. These are benchmarks performed on the ProArt PX13. These results for Pass Mark, Citybench 2024, PC Mark, 3D Mark,
Crossmark, Crystal Disk Mark, Geekbench 6, Procon Office, Procon Machine Learning, Procon Stable Diffusion, Procon Tensor RX, Procon Photo Edit, Procon Video Edit, Fugit Photoshop, Fugit Lightroom, Fugit Premiere Pro, Fugit DaVinci Resolve, Luxmark, Burmark, Octane Bench, UG Engine, Spec View Pref 2020, and some gaming benchmarks like Far Cry 6, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Cyberpunk 2077, Forza 5, F1 2023, and Wukong Black Myth.
Overall, the Asus ProArt PX13, I said at the start, this laptop is a joy to use. It's so versatile, yet it has no compromising on its performance, as it is absolutely a powerhouse beast of a laptop. It's able to throw a lot of powerful things at it and still able to handle and just spit it back and go, no problems at all. I'd throw it a lot of video editing, there was some heavy load video editing it, and also playing AAA games. This is no problems. This is just great, nice and light, has decent battery support, and we've got a great 3K OLED display, and it is just nice and vibrant. It is glossy, so just beware that if you're in broad daylight and you have the sun behind you and it's shining right directly, it does have a glossy display. So you may get some actual reflections from it, but that 400 nits, still, you can still see through it and still work on it even though, but probably just want to tilt it a little bit. It's just a matter of getting right angle, but vibrancy on it, oof, love it. Has great color accuracy that I can actually still do video and photo editing work. We've got a good selection of I/O ports. I love that it's got HDMI port. I can actually use it for business, and we've got a good keyboard and the trackpad. Now this is a great trackpad. It's also got this Asus dial. Now I haven't really gone to the actual power of the Asus dial, only because I run off so many different laptops, but if I had spent enough time with it, I can probably really customize this Asus dial for taking care of a lot of keyboard shortcuts, and so I don't actually go through the keyboards for it, but that is has a lot of power that you can actually do with that Asus dial. Absolute fantastic. Got nice build quality from this, and the performance. It's just the performance that really just shocks me how well it is with all the 2-in-1 functions. It's got great performance, and the temperatures are well controlled. Even the actual sound of it is well controlled. And it being AMD Ryzen AI, actually has a lot of headroom that can actually go even up, but Asus have actually toned it down just to keep it safe and so, but still can pull some pro performance. It is not that power hungry at all. Asus, AMD, well done, both of you. Now, I just can't recommend this more than anything else enough. This is just a great workhorse computer that just overall can do everything and anything. This is it. Absolute joy to carry around here and work on it. Now I hope you find this video informative and enjoyed it. If you did and support my channel, smash that like button for me, share this video, it does help me out, and as always, imperfections in life makes me beautiful and interesting, and I'll see you next video.